That's just going to be a pretty truck. Got some stuff missing right here, but I know where it is. It's down here on the floor. And I found a few more pieces to paint. And probably should have took you with me. We're working on the, I'm calling it ground effects, running boards, what I'm gonna call it ground effects. All right. I'll show you what we got to work with here. All right, here we go. This is the first piece of ground effects, I guess you'd call it. And I hope this is the worst piece on the whole kit, because it's delaminating here. And just plain old coming apart here. Must have come too close to a rock or something. Paint's blistered. Something terrible. This is a little tread for the steps. This is the tread for the little steps. And there's all the molding around the edge. Like I say, I hope this is the worst one. That's soft right there. Just squeeze it. They say they use a piece of 1x4 to stiffen it up, because back here it's kind of stiff. Up toward the front, it's just squishy like a sponge. They say it can be fixed, so we'll find out. That is the other side, which is in pretty good shape. This is the side I'm working on, which is got some stuff missing right here. But I know where it is. It's down here on the floor. That used to be a 1x4 about 3 feet long. And this is a 3/4 wide stirring pit stick. And it fits in there pretty snug, all the way up and down. So I think all I got to do, get me a 1x4, assuming that's 4 inches wide on a 1x4. Lather it up real good with some epoxy and hammer the thing down in the hole. Like that, all the way to the bottom. And then come back and lay some glass over it. You know, taper my edges and flare it in and all like that. But I think that'll work. We're about to find out. There it is. Found me a 1x4. All I gotta do is trim it a little bit so it'll fit. However, it's just a little bit too thick. I try to push it in and it don't want to go. So, told Stephen about it, and he said he has access to a thickness planer. So he'll fix my board for me, hopefully tomorrow. And we'll get it sized right and shove it in the hole. See, that just wants to spread apart on me. So, we're making progress on that. I've been scratching the clear coat off the rest of it, getting ready to prime and sand, and yeah, that one's cleaned up. Got all the clear coat off of it, ready to start sanding on it. This one I haven't started on yet. Got most of the clear off of this one. And then, of course, that one will take a good bit more work. Oh well, Stephen said he'd be by after a while and pick up the board and take care of it. There we go. It's upside down. There's your front wheel and the step. Then the back goes toward the back. And these things have a piece of board in the center where you step on. They tend to rot. That's what happened to this one. We're going to repair this one. Get you a Ziz wheel, a Sawzall, grinder, whatever. Take the front off of the board. You're going to glass it back. You'll need probably a 1x4 or thereabouts. You may have to plane it down to the proper thickness and get it so it's a good snug fit. With a little persuasion. It'll fit. Now I'm going to glue it in place with some Gorilla Glue and then clamp all along here. I have boards cut right there, some 1x4s cut to use over and under so I get a good even pressure across the whole area here. See, that board fits nice and flush. Any high spots, we'll sand them off later. Looks like it's going to fit pretty good though. And it pulls together nice. So all I got to do now, I'll pull it back out, coat the board with Gorilla Glue. I think they say you're supposed to wet one side or another. Not really sure how I'm going to do that, but it probably doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm going to glue it in there. Then we'll come back and we'll taper this edge here so we get a good bond, and lap it over with some cloth, maybe some mat, get a nice build thickness, because it is fairly thick right here. Fairly thick right there too. And then it thins down. I think it's going to work fine. I also have to, on this particular one, I need to take the front end off up here because it's delaminating and getting mushy up in this area. So I'm gonna grind this down, and when I do fix the front on this, I'll fix the front on that. Probably be Monday before I come back on and show you the results on that. So, because I'm gonna let it set over the weekend and be good and cured Monday morning. There she is, all clamped up. And you can see the Gorilla Glue already beginning to fuzz. Got a nice tight seal all the way down. Again, we've got a board on top and a board on the bottom. Then our replacement board in the middle. This is a piece of fiberglass. Comes right down here. That's the stack. And that ought to be set up good and firm Monday morning. And I'll sand off the foam. Probably even take this down some so I can get a nice straight seam on it. Looks like it's been hit with something, got warped. Whatever impacted out here. All right, we'll work on that Monday. It's Friday. I think I can take off now. All right, here it is Monday morning. Time to get back at it again. Looks like our Gorilla Glue did its job. Yeah, looks like we got a good bond all the way down. I'll pop these clamps off and the boards and grind all that smooth. This area here, I'll taper it back all the way out here to the end, because it's got some issues inside it. It's soft. You can squeeze it. Shouldn't be able to do that. This end out here, I'll just taper it back to get a good bond. New glass to the old glass. Same thing on the top here. I'll taper this back to get a good bond, and it'll just cap over that. Sand it all smooth, and it'll be good to go. This is the first layer of 2 pieces of fiberglass and resin. It's a little cool in the shop, so it's setting up a little slow. So I'll wait till tomorrow to do the second attempt with it. But so far, it looks like I don't have any bubbles in it, which is a good thing. Yeah, that's a good first step. Doesn't look too much different from this morning, but there are 3 more layers of glass. Trying to build up a little thickness there so I have some strength. And not let it get too lumpy. Looking like it's turning out fairly well. Tomorrow I'll get some sanding, block sanding, such as that. See if I can see any high spots, low spots. Fill in the lows and grind down the highs. And then maybe I'll have time to work on the rest of it. Yesterday we had it was 4 layers of fiberglass cloth. Came in this morning and knocked all the high spots down on it. Cleaned up all around the edges. And that got my structural repair done. Now I'm working on the cosmetic. I'm using the fiberglass filler type Bondo, because it does add a little bit of strength. Filling in right there, the high spot, there's a high spot. The rest of it's low, there's a high. So filling in the low spots, that's where we are now. There's the first one. Well, it's not got primer on it yet, but it's real close to being done. I got to primer it real good, sand it real good. But the worst one is done. Looks like it's pretty straight. All right. Second one, not too bad. But I've got 2 of them ready for primer now. This one is going to be a challenge. All right. See how it's turned white right here, and it goes back into the glass, and then it turns pink. This is good. This is bad. Follow along here. There's another bruise. Then there's a big chunk right here. Now, see these lines like this? That's where the glass is cracked. If I don't do something with that, that'll show right back up. Then up here, it's also turning white. With any luck, there's another little bruise. Yeah, all along there. Got to get that primer off, see what's going on under it. And this one It looks simple, but to get it so it doesn't come back on us, it's gonna take a little work. Wish me luck. Got about 2 layers of glass and the resin. I like to cover it with plastic, that way I can work the air bubbles out with my hands. Make sure it's all stuck real good all around. And you can see the white bruises are, they're still there, but maybe they won't work their way to the surface. And I wonder what time it is. Probably time to go home and find some supper. Yesterday, we left this piece. It had a layer of fiberglass and resin. Came in this morning and I cleaned and I trimmed all the edges all the way down. And it was pretty good, but still I had to remove a lot of material in this area off the back side and the front side. So it kind of lost its shape. Well, I had to come up with a way to get the shape back. And this is what I did. I taped up a piece of plastic to the side of the truck, and then I took my clamps, one way down there, and I clamped this thing to the bed and filled in that gap with filler, fixing to find out what it looks like. That gave me the general shape of it back. Yeah. All I gotta do now is smooth it up. Sometimes we get creative when we have to do things like this. We have our first coat of primer on. I'll be doing like I did with the truck, and first coat is a light gray, and the second coat will be a darker gray. I use a little black pigment in it just to make it a little bit darker, show up any little waves or whatnot. I already saw some little holes here and there. These fiberglass pieces right along the peak, they're bad to have little bubbles in there. And they'll go ahead and paint them. If they're real careful, they don't break the skin off the top of the bubble, then they're fine. But later on, when poor little old me comes along, and you start sanding a little more aggressively, little stuff on the, right there's one. Where'd he go? There he is. Right there's one. Several right there. Even after you get it in primer, there's a little more to do. And that piece that I've been working on, trying to get it to fit, I believe it's going to be all right. Looks pretty good from here. I'm going to spray another coat of primer and call it a day. All that ground effects, sanded 3 times, 150, 240, 400, wet sanded, pressure washed. Booth is pressure washed. There's what's left of the aftermath of the problem. Tomorrow morning we will paint these things. And maybe a few other things, we'll see. Let's see, it's 4 o'clock. Seemed like an early day. See y'all in the morning. Got everything hung up where I can reach it. And hopefully not bump into another piece or two. This is my practice run through to make sure I don't bump into something. So I See if anything's out of the way. All right. I think I can get around everything without bumping into one another. That'll be a big step forward. Still got to paint that hood. Let's check on them and see how they're doing. Still just a little bit tacky. Don't want to handle them too much. You get fingerprints all over them and they won't wash off. Looks like they're shiny. Not too bad, I guess. A few little things that I saw, but I like it. It's close enough. Yeah, that'll work. Kind of a recap for the week and what's coming up next week. We've finished painting the ground effects or running boards. Still got to paint the hood. I believe we're going to paint the front bumper. It's chrome, but it's not real shiny, so we're going to paint it black. But it should look good on a black truck. And mirrors, we're going to paint the mirrors. The chrome part of the mirrors, not the shiny part, of course. What else we're going to do next week? Probably start putting the fender flares and whatnot on. Got to paint the hood. One day next week should put the hood on the leaf truck. Started putting the bumper and the fender flares on. We're getting close. We're getting close. Next week should be good. All right, as promised, it's Monday morning, and I found a few more pieces to paint. See if I can show them to you here without too much. Here's the mirrors. And what I did is I put some trim black on the black parts. I'll come back and I'll mask them off and then paint this part shiny black. I think that'll look good. On the bumper, the only thing that actually shows is this part right here, all the way across. All these parts with holes in them are covered up with plastic. That plastic. Got them all cleaned up and reasonably good condition, and those will become flat black as well, like those pieces. Still got that thing to paint shiny black. The running boards, and they turned out fairly well. I'm happy with them. Kind of hard to see all piled up here in the bed, but if I get these pieces painted, then we'll have a few new things coming in, like tail lights and headlights, third brake light. We'll have to ask Steve about the rest. All right, I'll show you what we did this afternoon. All right, here we are at the end of the day. Just finished spraying these 4 pieces. That's all it shows on the bumper is that center part. And then there'll be a piece of trim that goes in there, and a piece of trim on the bottom, and a piece of trim on the top. Oh, and a tag license plate goes right there. The mirrors turned out pretty good, I think. You know, I ain't gonna fix that. And the hood, I think the hood is doing excellent. Just look at that. Boy. I don't think there's anything else to paint except them wheels. Got to get us matching for something there. Something ain't matching up right. Wonder what's on the other side. All right, we need one more wheel like them. I'm guessing it's at his other shop. Had a boo-boo on the grill. Paint started peeling off when I was unmasking it. I'm trying to make it so it won't be so noticeable. When I take that yellow tape off, it won't notice it hardly at all. See y'all guys in the morning. Today, I'm in the paint booth inspecting what I sprayed last night. Looks like everything came out all right. So I'm gonna let this stuff just set for a day or so. And today, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a little buffing on the truck. You know, our spray conditions aren't the best up here, but we do what we can with it. And we collect a few dust nibs here and there. And see if I can show some of them to you. I've already gotten started doing a little wet sanding to take care of just general appearance on this truck. But there's going to be places I can feel one right there. He is. I can feel him, but I don't know. He's not going to show up on camera too good. I just go around and I feel, and I'll find some dust nibs here and there. Again, they're not going to show up on camera, but they're there. They're going to be. See if I can see any here on the fender that were there. All right, I don't know if you can see that. Right there was a little crater. Might have been a dust nib next to it or something like that. See if I can get that one to show. Right there's another one that's a little crater. And while it won't get rid of all of it, it'll make it better. But what it actually does, this is what all the show car people do. And this is to get rid of the very last bit of orange peel that might be left. You can see all that right there. We call that orange peel. And if you take it all the way down till, let's see, where's a good spot? Right there's a good spot. It's perfectly flat. No orange peel left. That's what all the show car people do. That's how they get a perfect paint job, is a lot of work. They don't come out of the booth looking like that. You've got to work on them. I'm shooting for something somewhere in between. It may have a little orange peel left, there may be a dust nib or two left, but once you get it outside, you never see it. But it's going to make this truck look a little bit better. So I'm going to get to buffing and see if we can achieve that goal. try to show you what it looks like in a place or two here after a while. All right, I'll try to show you what I'm doing now. All right, this is my, I believe it's 3000 grit sandpaper, and this one you use wet. You just damp it a little bit like that. While it's wet, you can't see what you've done, so you get a nice clean cloth. Don't get anything with any grit in it. You'll scratch it and you'll have to start over. That's all it takes to get it smoothed out. You come off with a little bit of paint on your cloth. You have to turn it over. And now I'm ready to start buffing. I'm using my random orbit long throw buffer with what they call an interface pad. It's a soft pad. Really helps on these curves. It kind of conforms to the fender. Use a foam pad. The wool pads will actually put scratches in the paint sometimes. If you're having to do some very aggressive compounding, you want to use a wool pad. We're just doing finishing stuff today. This is my favorite compound, the Tri-Cut by Transtar. It does a very good, nice job. You don't want to start right away. You just smear it around, or if you don't, it'll sling it everywhere. Fast. If I can show you what we did. Ooh, you can see me? That's pretty good. From that to that. All I have to do is rinse and repeat all the way around the truck. First round, buffing all the way around the truck. Not too bad, but I got to do it 2 more times. Next I'll be going with this foam finishing pad. It's a softer pad. It'll help get rid of the swirl marks and bring it back to a clear black shine. Won't see any stars in the lights like that. See how you got all those refractions around lights? Those are scratches. We'll be going after those next. Wish me luck. Started out dull like that. That's the 3000 or 2000. That's the sandpaper after I've buffed it. And then I'll come over here. And that's what we're shooting for. All right. Just wanted to show you the difference that the soft foam pad makes. That was the first buffing. That's the soft foam pad. See how it's gotten rid of all that haze? And I might go over it again just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And today, this photo pretty much says it all. There's good and bad there. Bedside still has some haze on it, needs buffing out. And I started putting the running boards on. How about that? There's the story. That fender turned out really shiny, but I've still got a little haze on the door and more haze on the bedside. It might just be the light, but it doesn't do it there as bad. Still got a little haze around the door handle there. Yeah, I got to go around it one more time, looks like, on it with the buffer. But all in all, today's been a good day, I think. See what's going on over here. Now, see that one, well, through the camera lens, it does show some starburst, a little bit of haze and whatnot. Yeah, I'll go around it one more time. It looks good to the naked eye, but the camera shows up a lot more than I can see with my eyes. Now that fender, it's good, even to the camera. So there is some truth to the camera. It sees better than I do. It's not hard to do. All right, maybe I'll go find me a biscuit. Good morning, everybody. This morning, I believe I have discovered a new way to tell if you're getting all the haze off as you buff. See that fluorescent light there in the black? There's no halo around it or anything. As I move down, it goes to being cloudy. You can't see that with the naked eye. I can't see it. I can't see it with the naked eye. But the camera sure picks it up. I know a lot of folks will use a bright light, just a single, like a flashlight or a shop light, and shine it on the surface and look for the halo around the light. But this works better. All right, back to work. All right, I must have punched a button by mistake. I think I left off bragging on my buffing job back here. And I was up here at the bumper. Got all the bolts just sort of halfway in the hole, and it's just sort of hanging there. Have to do a little bit of adjusting on it before I tighten them up. I also was working on the grill. I don't know if I got this in the first section or not, but I was working on the grill back here, cleaning up all the threads, gluing in some studs, and just cleaning it up, getting it ready to go back on. Glued on another stud here. Feels like it's holding pretty good. It's all the piddly little detail stuff that you have to do. You have to clean up the rusty bolts if you can't find new ones. So far, I've found new ones. Then you got to make 3 or 4 trips to the hardware because their nut and bolt bin sometimes is got other stuff in it that not the right stuff. Anyway, that's par for the course on nuts and bolts. They're always getting mixed up in the parts bin. And I think that's about all I got done today. The front bumper and grill and nuts and bolts. Oh yeah, I polished it a little bit. All right, we'll try it again tomorrow. See if we can do something more. There you go. Now we're talking. For another nickel, we could have got a black one. Still got to adjust that bumper. Got to get some headlights. Put on the running boards. But just look at that hood. I'm so proud of that. I mean, that's straight out of the booth. Yeah. We can get Steven to get us some headlights and tail lights and wheels. We'll go for a ride. All right. Sun's going down. Go find me a tater. All right. There's mostly the bumper on. Having a little trouble on the corners over here. Not quite sure how all that's supposed to come together. I believe it needs to be closer to the fender. Got a few pieces broke. This side's somewhat better, but still something's wrong here. I don't know what. I didn't take it apart, so that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. The little air dam thing, it's all busted up. I'm not going to put it back on. All right. Let's see. Must be lunchtime. All right. 6 o'clock Friday afternoon, and I've done all I can do with the parts that I have. This is still loose. Don't know what we're going to do there. Got a gap here. Don't know what I'm going to do there. Steven has a new grill ordered because this one it's cracked and it deserves a new grill. I have the running boards on, got the bumper on, the shiny part in here, and this, and that. All that looks awesome. And probably should have took you with me. This is the side that the running boards were in decent shape. I didn't have to do a lot of work over here. That running board did turn out to have some, wait a minute. This is the side that had the rotten board, yes. And the other side had the rotten rear. Yes, that's correct. This side was the rotten board. After you get them all put together and painted black, you can't tell. This is the side that was all beat up right here. And had all the damage in here. And I had to make all this fit down through here. And it did. It came out great. This is the side that the wood was rotten. I could not put a screw back in it. So I drilled out those holes on the bottom side and then filled those holes with epoxy and buried a 1/4-inch screw in there, kind of left it out as a stud, and that worked great. Boom, boom, boom. Like I said, it's 6 o'clock Saturday afternoon. No, wait, it's Friday. 6 o'clock Friday. Let's go with that. Steven says he has wheels ordered, headlights ordered, taillights ordered. So next week we'll do that. That's just going to be a pretty truck. All right. How do I, there. I meant to ask, did I get any dust on me? I don't see any on the front here. Maybe it'll be all right.